It's Friday and time for a weekly review of events related to Korea making headlines elsewhere. I have Kim Sung-yeon with me as always. Sung-yeon, welcome back.
It's good to be back, Sunny. So this week we'll be talking about Korea's place in Bloomberg's latest COVID-19 resilience ranking. Also, we'll be looking into Samsung's mega deal from earlier this week of its new chip plant in Taylor, Texas. There was also an interesting piece on Korean younger women who wear hair curlers in public. And we have finally some more coverage of BTS and also the Grammys. So let's dive right in. Bloomberg has named Korea as one of the world's 7 MVPs in its handling of the pandemic. Bloomberg's COVID-19 resilience ranking has been tracking the best and worst places to be during this health crisis. It has weighed indicators among 53 countries for a year now by combining data ranging from case counts, death tolls, and vaccination rates to progress in reopening the economy. The 7 countries named as the MVPs are Norway, Denmark, Finland, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, Switzerland, and South Korea. All 7 had an above-average score in every indicator, whether it be rolling out vaccines, fighting the Delta, or reopening the economy. Bloomberg compiled a year's worth of data, zeroing in on the most consistent performers, who's done best on returning to normal, and where deaths have been most effectively prevented. Bloomberg suggested that observations over the past year indicate that past performance is no guarantee of future success or failure, considering the changing variables like the emergence of variants and vaccination rates. However, amid the changing fortunes seen in many parts of the world, a number of countries have shown continuing resilience, including Korea. Bloomberg says strong healthcare systems and societal cohesion, these are some of the common denominators in the 7 countries, qualities that worked to their advantage in every stage of the pandemic.
Right. Meanwhile, on the economic front, Sung-yeon, what has been the foreign response to Samsung's announcement of the site of its second U.S. plant?
Right,
chip plant, that is.
Yes, so this latest decision is actually one of the largest foreign investments being made in U.S. history. Samsung Electronics has decided to build an advanced semiconductor plant in the city of Taylor in Texas. So Bloomberg says that Samsung is hoping to secure more American clients through this latest move and narrow the gap with Taiwan's TSMC, which along with Intel has unveiled plans to spend billions on cutting-edge facilities globally. The new plant will augment Samsung's already sizable presence in nearby Austin, also in Texas, where it employs around 3,000 workers fabricating some of the most sophisticated chips manufactured in the U.S. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal says this mega investment by the Korean tech giant is also a win for the Biden administration, which is prioritizing supply chain security and greater semiconductor capacity on American soil.
Right. And on a light note, Sung-yeon, as you mentioned, there was a rather intriguing article on the New York Times about young Korean women wearing hair rollers.
Yes,
out in public.
Sure. Yes, you've seen some of them on the streets, and I'm sure you've seen photos of celebrities doing so. The New York Times, in fact, wrote that this may be a sign of changing ideas regarding gender and beauty, as well as a reflection of the country's generational divide. So many young women in Korea, especially in the capital Seoul, are now using old-fashioned hair curlers, which they lock tightly into their bangs. For many of these young women, according to the Times, appearance matters more at the final destination than on their way there. The paper notes that this is an attitude shared among many younger people who don't feel bound to the conventions that were once strictly observed in Korean society. Now, young people today may be less concerned about what other people think, choosing instead to live a more carefree, independent life. So these hair curlers may be more than just an accessory, but part of a broader shift among young women who feel they should be allowed to behave as they choose in public without having to follow common expectations about beauty and gender.
I see. All right, then. Right, let's end today's segment, Sung-yeon, with BTS.
Yes, so a lot of the foreign media outlets actually this week, they have been saying that BTS was basically snubbed at the upcoming Grammy Awards as they failed to secure a nomination in the big four categories despite a widely successful year with a series of chart-topping singles. The Los Angeles Times, for one, was surprised that global pop sensation BTS scored only one Grammy nomination even after releasing 3 #1 singles this year. During Tuesday's morning's live stream event announcing the 2022 nominees, BTS was excluded from the coveted record and Song of the Year categories, even though song Butter spent a whopping 10 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The snub was all the more surprising to U.S. media, particularly coming just days after BTS was named Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards. In any case, though, if it does bring a Grammy home, BTS would be the first Korean artist to sweep all 3 major U.S. music awards, including the AMA and the Billboard Music Awards. The 64th Grammy Awards will be held on January 31st of 2022.
I see. All right, Sung-in, as always, thank you very much for that coverage.
Thank you for having me.